What did you do today?
I somehow got first the grade 4 Magnolia post DZ01.
Hell yeah. Successful Vanguard day.
Very successful Vanguard day. So first up, we got the regular. Obviously, any starter can work, but we run the new DZ01 ride line. Karis basically says whenever Lattice rides on top of him, you can look at top 3 instead of calling off the top of the deck like it used to be. You can look at top 3, you can call it, and then if you called it, you can choose to mill the other 2 cards that you looked at top 3 with. So it's really helpful. If I don't have grade 4, I can pitch the grade 4 and then I can pick it back up later, or I can already fuel my drop ups because I'm playing a really heavily recursion deck.
Right.
Next one is Lattice. Lattice doesn't really do anything. It's just mainly to help proc the Karis skill. What Lattice does do is when Magnolia rides on top of Lattice, I can Soul Blast 1 and I can choose any grade 3 or greater in my drop and I can add it back to my hand, as well as he's a 15k body if I ever have to call him out, so it makes him a 20k on grade 4 Magnolia turn. Going into the list, we have 4 of the Beast himself, grade 4 Magnolia, which says when placed, look at top, go through the soul and you call 1, and then if you have a Magnolia in the soul, everything gets +5 and he can attack, and all your units can attack, including from back row and intercept from back row. Next up, we have the typical grade 4 package. We got 4 Inlet Pulse, 4 Englor, and then the Forbidal. A really neat combo I did a lot was going to grade 3, I would pitch Enlargle to draw a card, put the goat to soul blast the goat out, and then Lattice would pick Enlargle back to my hand, so now I have a 50k shield, or it's a free recursion target because on play Soul Blast 1 I can choose any grade 2 or greater card and I can put it back to my hand, and most of the time I'm just picking up the Funny Lion, which I'll get to in a bit. And then obviously you're playing a grade 4 deck. This is what other you're running?
Staple.
So this deck is super heavily grade 4 deck, and grade 2 deck. So we have 4 Friendship Fairy, which lets us allow us to go blind second all the time, net a huge hand advantage, and then still get to grade 4 for free. We have Elkworm. Elkworm's super good. Soul Blast 1, you search your deck for a Magnolia that that isn't on your Vanguard circle, and then you discard 1, so you're setting up your drop again and securing the grade 4 in hand. So that way, even if you don't have it, you can just go Friendship Fairy, push to Soul, and then that grade 4 you got off of Elkworm is good. Next up, 2 of the Goat. That's why he's the Goat. He's Goyle Dote, but he's the Goat. He has the ability of when you ride a Magnolia during the ride phase, if there's not a copy of him in the soul, you can push him to soul and give +5,000 to the Vanguard. But he also has the effect of if he's on the middle back row rearguard circle, he gets +10,000 power, making him 25 on grade 4. And then after he attacks, you pop him, and then you can draw a card. So it helps you just with your triple drive, getting you 3 cards, and then this with 2 Inlet Pulses in the front row, that's you 3 more cards. Next up, we got 3 Alpin. Just because, I mean, the counter charge and soul charge, it's pretty good. We run it just because it's a 30k body, so it's really helpful in the doll matchup, which is arguably your hardest matchup of any deck. Like, honestly, Magnolia, unironically, because of how many cards it draws, has a huge matchup against everything in the format, including Varga, and to where I have a really high win record against Varga. It's just
Retiring the front's not enough.
The entire the front row, you never have a front row, you always have a back row. But he's great card. Leading up to the last one, we have the Funny Lion.
This is the new card.
This is the other new card that the deck got, and it's essentially a Chat GPT card. It has everything and everywhere all at once. So it's a counterblast Soul Blast 1, and you can call a card from your drop for every 2 grades of your Vanguard. So again, with Lattice and Karis, Lattice goes and looks at top 3, and if you ever see the lion, you always grab the lion just because of the early game plays. Because you can then pitch anything, and then the lion can come out, and then it can call anything out. So say you see your Inlet Pulses in your top 3 and you dump them, you can then call the Inlet Pulses and Now you have an Inlet Pulse already ready for next turn, and he has a second effect of when he attacks, he gets +5 for every 2 grades of your Vanguard. So on grade 4, he's a 25 always, requiring a 15k guard magic number. Moving on to the grade 1s, it's nothing too special except for this. I run 2 Frozen Resentment. It's to help with the recursion of this deck because I can Soul Blast 1, look at top 3, pitch 1, and then I call anything. And Lion, fun fact, is not when called from hand, it's just when it's called. So I can do Frozen Resentment, call Lion, 1 card turns into a whole board, next thing you know. Not to mention how, with how much recursion's already in this deck, so we have this, we have these with the grade 4 Magnolia, 4-bit all, Anglorb, like we have a pretty meaty package that even if you get board wiped, as long as you see one sees them all, and it's really strong. Especially there were times where I just milled out the 4-bit all and I picked it back up with Anglorb, I think. I think I can do that. Yeah, it's just a grade 2 or greater card, making sure I wasn't cheating. And then obviously the 4 perfect cards. I'm sorry, one of them is different. I'm just, I don't want, it doesn't really affect me, so it's like I don't really care looking for it.
Sorry about it in the comments.
Yeah, essentially. Something that's special. I run Rainbow Triggers. Because with this deck, you're trying to net as much hand advantage as you humanly possibly can, just because this gets you a card, and if you draw into it, it's still a 10k guard, so it super is good against Shiranui for those early dominate turns, so you can just dump it. Obviously, 4 regular heals, 4 fronts, and then Mr. Worldwide, Rainbow OT, and then 4 crits. In all honesty, I've been wanting, before this, I was going to test out running 7 front, just because if your opponent hits a defensive in the early turns, it makes your Inlet Pulse Dragons or anything in the front row really hard to guard, and so the extra fronts gives a nice oomph to the turn, but nothing feels better than hitting this on a defensive, so I mean, today just kind of sealed the deal with me keeping it, but overall my matchups in round 1 was Varga. Round 2, it was Varga again. Round 3, it was I can't quite remember. No, round 3 was Hex the Orb. Then round 4, I played against Leonorn. Super close game, but we lost the down pair. Made it to top 8, where I played against Varga, beat Varga again, and then played Prism in the grand finals to just close it out with a 6-1. 6-1 final record. I mean, honestly, shout out to Drawlogic for picking me up and just letting me do my best to get the channel rolling. And shout out to my sponsors, Strictly Broken Gaming, and shout out to Infinity for just hosting a great event.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Yeah.